Alright, I think I'm going to try a couple things for this next one. And I'm getting more sure of it by the moment. What I'm going to do, as I'm looking at this and thinking that some things are too dark, I've been kind of not starting as watery as I would usually like to. So if you do find yourself in that spot, on one hand, I would encourage you sort of to complete at least one layer everywhere there's going to be paint, because it's hard to judge if something is off. But I'm just going to say that this petal is a little too dark for a first round. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint some clean water onto this shape. I'm not going to let that water interact for a moment with the paper and the paint that I put down in too dark of a fashion. And after gently doing that, I'm going to come back in with this brush. This is the same Casaneo. I'm never going to remember if it's an... And I'm just going to sort of try to agitate, wake up the paint that's already there. And if there gets to be too much water and whatnot, I can just get some of that out of there. So I remember this sort of being one of the very first things I did with watercolor. And I remember thinking, oh man, I messed up. And then I remember thinking, after doing this, that I liked the way it looked a lot more. It can sort of dull things out a little bit, but if you see what's going on, I'm not picking up paint sort of evenly throughout the whole shape. I'm sort of more picking up paint a little bit more in the center, and towards the edges it's still a little bit stronger. And that effect, truth be told, is pretty much one of my favorite effects of especially watercolor, but kind of any art in general. So I could keep doing that, and I could get a stiffer brush and lift up even more paint if I felt like it. But I'm going to say that that's better. So I may end up doing that with the others, but I may not. And I'm going to let that one dry. I see that it's not, yeah. So anyways, part of it is just the imperfection of it. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do this blue-green. And I'm going to really, really try hard to make a more watery mix. And I may make it too watery, but this is all part of the process and the push and pull of values and colors and chroma. as I'm looking at that one, I'm kind of thinking, I don't know that that is green enough for blue-green. Fortunately, I have some green right here. So I'm going to try mixing in a little bit of that green and just doing this dabbing it in. There needs to be more water and paint on your brush than on the paper for the water and paint to want to transfer to the paper. Whichever has less water is where the water will go. There's a law of thermodynamics in there somewhere. So that is looking better to me. Let me see, I'm looking around and kind of thinking, what last thing could I do that's not touching anything else? And hey, look, the red-orange I could do. I already have some orange mixed up here, and there's a little bit, I think this was a mix with some Hans Yellow Deep and some pyrrole orange, but that's fine. I want to get to the hue, and there's all different ways of getting to a particular hue color. So I'm just grabbing some Naphthol red, and again going to try to make sure I get it good and watery. I don't want that purple to sneak in there. So let me try this. Got quiet, didn't it? So that's fine for that one. It might need to be a little bit more red, but I'm okay with that for right now. And eventually I'll be wanting to get this sort of effect everywhere, and it may be that I get that effect by dabbing in a little bit of stronger color at the edges, or it may be that I do it by scrubbing out a little bit of color from the middle, or drop in some water, some clean water. But that is enough for this video, and I'll leave it there for now.